Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Heritage Group channel. Today we're featuring a very special car here. It's a 1991 BMW E30 M3. And this isn't just any E30 M3. This is a completely modified, very tastefully built OEM Plus M3. So starting from the exterior here, you'll see it's finished in Alpine White 2 paint job, and featuring also some Evo style parts like the front bumper here, the splitter, and this car is in fantastic condition. So the first owner of this car was the one who actually repainted the entire car. So the paint job is still very fresh from when he had it back in the days, and it's been taken care of to a T. Now, besides the paint job, you'll also notice that it's been fitted with some BBS RS wheels on some Toyo Proxys R1R tires. This engine in this car has been updated from a 2.3 liter to a 2.7 liter stroker, featuring CP pistons, Schrick cams, E36 coil pack, carbon fiber airbox, and a standalone ECU. So the current owner and the previous owner of this car actually happen to be good friends of mine. So I know exactly what's been done to this car through the years, how they're taking care of it, and everything else in between. And both owners are actually very avid BMW enthusiasts with some insane collections, so they haven't spared any money on building this car properly. It's obviously a timeless design with the 80s box body, the wide hips, wide fenders on the front. This car just is iconic, and labeled as God's chariot, there's a very good reason for it. So skipping over the looks of the car, when it comes to the driving, it's a very nice car to drive. It's honestly very surprising at how well it does, from the power to handling and everything else in between. When you compare this to stock E30 M3, this one obviously feels more OEM plus. It actually feels like a homologated DTM race car in stock E30 M3 body. Alright, so moving on to the interior, as you can see, it's covered in black leather, and the interior is in very good shape, just like the exterior and undercarriage on this car. You can see that the dash is very clean. There's no cracks on the dash that I could see. The seats are in great shape as well. And keep in mind, this is over a 30-year-old car now, so the fact that it's in this great of a shape is very good. The cushion in the seats are very soft. The bolsters are nice. It hugs you pretty tight when you're driving. This is the IS seats that came standard in the M3s. And it also actually has the original radio as well. It's very cool to actually use it and listen to the quality of sound that it produces from the stock speakers and the radio. It really takes you back to the 90s. When it comes to the electronics on the car, everything functions properly. From the driver's side window, passenger side window, sunroof, all the way recline function, as well as the tilt function on the sunroof, lights, blinkers, horn, stereo, AC, heater. I mean, this car is in fantastic shape again. Okay, so let's talk about the engine on this car a little bit. As mentioned, this is a 2.7 liter stroker build. It features CP pistons on the internals along with the Schrick cam, and it really sounds mean and aggressive at idle, which is fantastic. You know, it's really unexpected to see a stock looking E30 M3 and have it drive and sound and feel the way a true DTM E30 M3 would have back in the day. It's just such a pleasure. And you'll see the carbon fiber airbox, of course. Cooling has been upgraded with the electric fan. Coil packs have been changed to E36 coil packs. Standalone ECU installed. And you can also find the dyno chart and the photo gallery as well. Otherwise, I mean, this is a fantastic looking and sounding and driving car. So let's get on with it and see how this thing actually drives. to start with, BMWs, for the most part, all of them are very driver-oriented, quote-unquote, ultimate driving machine. With that given, so straight out of the box, they're great cars. So when you take a legendary machine that BMW built, like the E30 M3, and you build on top of that with tasteful modifications, I mean, this thing is just a completely different world, you know? I don't know how to convey this through the video, and it's probably going to be a longer driving video than most of our other cars, just because I love driving this car, literally. It's one of the most memorable cars that we've had the pleasure of selling, for sure. And I was already in love with the car, and when I drove it, it just made me fall head over heels for it. From the way it drives, the acceleration, the sound of the carbon fiber intake plenum, the individual throttle bodies, the super sprint exhaust. I mean, it's just such a blast to drive this car, and I can't contain my smile either, you know. The fact that you break necks everywhere you go is just the cherry on top. So with that, let's start with the driving. How does this car drive? I'm going to start with the speed, acceleration, and the power on this thing first. So the engine has been stroked out to 2.7 liter, and carbon fiber intake plenum added, standalone ECU, full internals built with CP pistons, upgraded camshafts, ground control coilovers, the custom exhaust all the way back to the super sprint muffler. I mean, it's just so well put together. So the speed on the car, it's very quick. It feels like it does have upgraded differential with shorter gearing. So off the line, it's very quick. First gear is literally there just to get you off as fast as you can and get you to second, which then pulls you to the gear that you want to stay in forever, which is third, if that makes sense. So I would say that it's geared more towards like a time attack oriented car, but it's fantastic on the back roads, and it's also great to drive as a daily as well. The shifting is very precise. I mean, there's AKG short shifter on it. You just find the gears instantly. Now, as far as the power output, you really feel the car open up once you pass that 4,000 RPM range. I feel like what happened with this car was, with the stroker kit, it was able to get at more bottom end torque, so you're able to get up to speed quicker, and with the upgraded intake plenum, it really added that top end power that you really need in this car to keep it going, you know, as long as it can. So it complements each other very well and makes it that much better to drive. When it comes to the shifting, this thing has the AKG short shifter on it, and it shifts beautifully. The shifting is actually pretty notchy, it's very tight, there's no slop or any play in there, and it's very short. It makes for great quick shifts. Then when you're coming out of the corner, once you step on the gas, you're instantly right there in the power band where you want to be. It feels like a pretty light flywheel on this thing, and it just handles like it's on rails. I'm at a loss for words because it's just insane how great this car has been built. And that sound, that sound just makes every penny worth it on this thing. Hitting some traffic here. Let's see if we can. Okay, back to the car. So continuing with the suspension. The ground control coilovers, personally, I love ground control. The brand does an amazing job at building suspension units. It's on the softer setting right now, so it really feels like stock Bilstein shocks on the car. However, you feel the difference when you start getting into the higher speeds and into the cornering. because it's just so planted, and it just reacts to every little divot and bump in the road so well that it's pretty hard getting the rear end of this thing broken loose. And the ride quality is just fantastic, you know, and when you take this thing to the track, you stiffen it up a little bit and it'll do amazing. Okay, now so let's switch gears and talk about the braking on the car. So the braking is right up there, up to par with the power on this car. It doesn't feel underpowered when it comes to the brakes. You can really get on the brakes and it'll stop. It has an ABS unit, but I fortunately haven't gotten the chance to test it. It does work. Otherwise, the braking it feels really nice. You know, the brake pedal functions as it should, and it's nice and soft. But once you step on it, it stops the car on a dime. The tires on the car are Toyo Proxus R1Rs. I've always been a fan of these tires, mostly because of the way they look, but now that I feel how they stick and how well they handle too, it just surprised me even more. They're brand new tires. The owner of the car literally put the tires on and brought the car over to us. So they have plenty of life left. Alignment is straight, you know, it drives straight when you're on the gas or on the brakes or off the gas. Regardless, it tracks straight. And overall, I mean, I don't know how to convey more of this car into the video, you know. You just really have to drive the car for you to understand why this is such a fantastic car and why it's worth every single penny out there. So right now I'm in third gear, 4,000 RPM, 55 miles an hour, shift into fourth, and when you're on the freeway with this thing, I would be cruising around 80 miles an hour at around 3,500 RPM in fifth gear. So cruising speed, you're going to be around like 3,500 RPM. But the exhaust isn't droney, isn't loud or anything, you know. It doesn't make the drive uncomfortable. If anything, it makes you want to drive the car even more. So with a few days left in the auction here, if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to us. Hit the contact seller button or put the message in the comments below, and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. Otherwise, happy bidding, and we'll see you all soon.